Welcome back, everybody. It is Rudy with Creepy Investments, and today we had a small collection come in today, and I want to go over it. So for those of you with very short attention spans, we got 3 boxes of bulk common uncommon. We got another collector's edition set, which is kind of weird. I'm going to go over this in a second. I went through all of it and took out any of the cards that were worth pretty much the real money. And there was some leftover Pokemon stuff that he had that he sent in, just kind of random, nothing crazy like first edition holo, blah, 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 crazy foil, nothing like that. Then we got a couple notebooks over there and a bulk bin over there we're going to discuss. So, first of all, I really appreciate the gentleman who sent these, and the transaction is completed, and I hope you enjoy the money. Don't blow it all at one spot. Don't bet it all on red. Okay, so first thing we're going to go to is, let's kind of clean up a little bit here. I just want to kind of show you what we're getting into. So first we're going to get to, I guess we'll just jump right to the expensive stuff. You know, that's usually what people want to see. So, this collection was a very, very well-loved, well-played collection. So, I'm just going to go ahead and say it right up front. This is not a minty collection. This is not a collection I can really send off for grading. I mean, this stuff is just, it's all played like it should have been. I mean, look at the condition of these things. I mean, these were not exactly minty cards. And you can see the sidewalk scraping. Sound familiar, anybody? Alright, so when I went through the collection and all the bulk, I found these to be the best cards. Obviously, we have a nice little played Gaia's Cradle. You know, I swear one day that's going to be like $1,000 card in like 20 years from now. You know, and again, pretty cool stuff. We have the old Stronghold, and again, I do believe moving forward, as we continue to see that expansion from the Arabian Legends Antiquities, that money flowing outwards now to the Urza's block and then to the Stronghold Exodus Weatherlight Tempest block, you're going to start seeing continuation of these older type of cards move up. Time Warp, I mean, doesn't even need an introduction. The old Dreadnought, again, these cards were literally played on sidewalks. You could see the turning and scraping. You can see it from the sidewalk. That's how you know these were some loved cards, man. Even look at this, look at the Sliver Queen. Look at this bad boy. Look at that card. You can see this thing has been, you can see the edging from the concrete. It's kind of crazy to see that kind of stuff, you know. Again, they're all authentic cards, though. They're the real deal just because they're played. There are a lot of people that still want the cards. Dream Halls, I still think way undervalued. Unless it's not reserve list. I need to verify that. I'm pretty sure Dream Hall is reserve list, but I know there's a few that are actually not. I just think it's substantial. And again, that artwork. Come on, look at that artwork. City of Traders. For the longest time, I actually thought this was overpriced. Then I actually saw people use it in some different kind of strategic decks, and I thought, well, that's a creative card that's never going to be kind of duplicated. And of course, it's reserved list. Ancient Tomb. Not much to say. It's an Ancient Tomb. Chrome Mox, again, been creeping up recently. The best part about it, of course, is the reflection in the artwork. Everybody knows that. We did get a chalice in this collection. This is an original chalice, not the old M25 chalice. A lot of people have been asking me, how do I feel about the reprints and the valuation of the M25 cards versus originals? I think specifically when they are the same artwork, and on cards specifically like this, I don't think people are really going to care whether they have the M25 version or the original version, because of the fact the cards are literally almost identical with a different set symbol and maybe slightly different saturation on the gray and silver. You know, I don't think people are really going to care too much. We did have a Gilded Lotus I found in this. Pretty cool stuff, especially for you colorless people. And of course a Lotus Petal that literally looks like it just got ran over by a truck. A very surprising find in this collection, which I did not expect to find. A 7th edition, gorgeous Wrath of God. This came out of nowhere. I put it in a sleeve because of the sensitivities of these foils, but I could not believe this was just like a gorgeous 7th. Like, you guys need to understand, 7th edition foils are not something that just are laying around anymore, and especially that aren't beat to hell. City of Brass, it is what it is, 5th edition. Overlord, pretty cool. Nothing, that's not as, you know, crazy as the Sliver Queen. Another 5th edition City of Brass, nothing crazy. And by the way, just a heads up, remember, no set symbol is 5th edition. 6th edition has the 6 and forward. 4th edition, of course, you can tell by the bordering and the frames is different. People mess that up all the time. The Scepter used to be pretty expensive before. This was reprinted in, oh God, was it Eternal Masters? Again, they got knocked down pretty hard. The Lens, okay. This was one I pulled through on this collection, and I thought this was like a $3 card, and I was way wrong. And I actually had to put this in the expensive pile because this sucker has gone way up. I don't know what the deal is with like the Chrome Mox and the imprint I was just like, whoa. I guess because it's just in a low print run set. It's old. I mean, what year is this? 2003. Ooh, I didn't realize it was that old. I mean, yeah, go figure. I do think that'll be actually a card that gets reprinted soon. Original artwork Arena. I just think it's cool. Nothing crazy. Some anvils, definitely played, very cool. And a Glimmer Void, which is also a reprint in Modern Masters, MM 2015 or 13, one of them. Lastly, we had a few of these. Now, these larger old school, anybody remember these? Fancy Schmancy Vanguard, in your face, rawr. If you can get these in like good condition, like mint unplayed, they're actually worth a good amount of money. The problem is most of these, because nobody really took care of them, most of them are really beat to hell because everybody just kind of slid them on concrete. I mean, you can tell. You can literally look at the borders of these cards and you can tell they were just slid around. And the backs always have the scrape marks. Like you can tell they were scraped against. So they're cool. Honestly, I just like these because of the artwork. I think these have the coolest artwork. And by the way, yeah, just so everybody knows the size difference. It's like an oversized card. A lot of people don't realize that until they see it in person. I just think the artwork is super sweet. I just wanted to share. Look at the old Multani. Look at you from old Urza's Destiny. Boy, he looks a lot older in that picture, doesn't he? And of course, Kondo. Avatar. Looking kind of cool. And like I said, just nothing, look at that Oracle. Sliver Queen. The Brood Mother. That's kind of neat, actually. Another Multani. And of course, everyone's favorite. Angry, not in Masters 25, Mr. Karn, little Lin action, and that's it. So, I think they're neat, but honestly, out of all the cards that came in this little collection, the expensive ones that I found, I know everyone's like, oh, Rudy, there's a Cradle in that collection. Oh, yeah. Honestly, that 7th edition Wrath of God was probably the most exciting card I found in this whole thing. So, that was probably the most expensive, surprising one that I actually got to find in there. Next up, I know this is kind of ironic. Look at this. So, let me explain something to everybody. I have literally gone the last 10 years without a single collector's edition, international collector's edition, box set for ages. And I haven't come across any. I sold them yet. Okay, I'll give everyone a little backstory. I have actually a whole separate video coming on these type of things. The whole collector's international and some interesting facts about it and the rebacking and blah, blah, blah. So here's the thing. So I originally came into the first one of these about 1998, and I bought it for about, $200 or something, 180 or something, somewhere. It was not, I'm not even gonna lie, it was not expensive at all. So I came into it, I did not pay much for it at all, and I actually sold it pretty frequently, within a year later for maybe $300 or $400. I don't remember what I sold it for, and I never really liked these cards. The biggest turnoff for me is not the square corners, it's actually the gold back. It just gives it such a cheesy, not real Magic card feel. That was the biggest thing I never liked about these type of things. Now, as years went by, and a lot of these were actually destroyed because people tried to make, the best counterfeits in the market by rebacking them. And you have to remember the print run, there's 10,000 collectors, 5,000 international, but the collector's edition actually only produced about 9,000. They were cut off a little bit. You can read about it online. And then on top of that, they estimate at least 1,000 to 2,000, at least from some people who told me. I have no facts on anything, so I'm just going by what hearsay is. And then I've heard at least 1,000 to 2,000 of these were actually destroyed into the attempt to make counterfeit beta cards. Now, the next thing you need to know, because these have square corners, if these are not factory sealed, like I said, ironically, I haven't had any of these things in ages. And in the last 2 months, this is the second one that showed up in a collection. The fact that the other collection one, this showed up as a factory sealed one, the value is a really big difference. And it's all because of the corners. The corners, the flippin' corners. No, I personally do not value International Collector's Edition more than the regular. I know some people do because these are technically half the print run. They're way more rare. But the reality is people don't care. It is what it is. But the issue is these corners are just so difficult. Now, this particular set was open. I had to go through them all. And as you can see, you can see some waviness and stuff. These are definitely not a mint condition. What is that warped card right in the middle? I'm kind of curious. So you've got a warped card right there. What is going on with this guy? Oh, of course it'd be a dual land. Why would it not be? So you've got a lot of these cards that right when you take them out of the wrapper, it's almost impossible to keep those nice square corners. So that's enough rambling on the collector's edition sets. It's missing a few cards. It's still a good find. I'm still pretty blown away that these are a couple $1,000s and moving up, especially if you have them unopened and sealed. Holy crap. If these are sealed, you can probably get $5,000 for these things if they're sealed in mint condition. Very, very few of them are actually sealed in mint condition. That is the real problem in 2018. So, next, I have like random Pokemon cards that showed up with this. So it looks like he was countering and collecting these because he didn't organize them by set. He organized them by like, I guess the Pokedex number or something. I'm not sure what he really did. And these are not really high-end exotic cards. There's not really any first edition crazy base stuff. I mean, there are some holos. Don't get me wrong. There's some holos throughout it. I did kind of go through it, but we're not looking at, I mean, you know, now if this was a first edition type thing or something, it'd be different. But I wanted to share. I price checked some of these things. You even got some jungles, little hollow jungles, but they're not first edition. And in the grading collecting world, that is a big deal. And like I said, just some cool stuff. I just want to share. So I get some of the weirdest things that show up in collections sometimes, and what it is I think people just want to kind of make peace with it. Like, people just want to move on with their life. They don't want to keep half the cards or different cards. They want to get rid of everything. And a good sign that you're getting an entire collection from somebody is when you start getting a bunch of random cards with the magic cards. Now, let me explain something to you. These are just cheesy little basic cards. Like, kind of, these are all promo cards you would get from, like, Inquest, Scry, Duelist, the magazines. But this is a sign that this person was really big into it for years. You've got Star Wars promo cards. This looks like X-Files. Is that X-Files? That's X-Files. You've got these random promo cards from different card games over the years. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't even know what this one is. Animeham? This one I recognize. Look at that. Redemption. So you've got a lot of these, and a lot of these were given away, and I haven't price checked these, but I think they're all worthless. And you can see the different card games over the years. And, you know, Legend of the Five Rings, don't know. I'm not sure what that one is. The old Deadlands, Babylon, and I think it's about it. But those are always a sign that people who bought the magazines, they were really big into that kind of stuff. That was kind of the era back then. And then again, this is all common bulk cards. So nothing really crazy to show you guys in the common bulk cards. And this whole one right here showed up as a bunch of lands. Like I said, the lands, unfortunately, they were in nicer condition. Not really, holy crap, like concrete scraped, super high mileage. Some of them aren't too bad. But when you have a lot of these, I think there's a few non-basic lands like in the pile, but I don't think so. I mean, I like the older ones. They look cool. I mean, come on. How neat is that? I don't think a lot of people realize how neat some of these older basic lands used to actually look. Because a lot of people weren't around to see a lot of this wild stuff. I mean, look at that Mirage, man. Look at the portal. Is that second age portal? Look at those look at those swamps. It's cool. I just think it's neat. So it's just a bunch of basic lands. Not going to waste a bunch of time going through that. There might be a few non-basic, more common cards through there. Like I said, I've already kind of skimmed through it all, looked for anything that really had a lot of value. Wasn't really a whole lot going on there. Same thing with these. You can kind of see a lot of these. Look at these older cards right here. And again, what do we got? Everybody's favorite set. We got Homelands, Alliances. You can tell these are suckers were played without sleeves. Mirage. You can tell just a bunch of random. It's a little worn out. God, look at the wear on that counterspell. So again, this is how a lot of stores and people just accumulate tons of cards. So lastly, I want to go to this. I think you guys will find this kind of interesting. Look at this! Look at this. First of all, has anybody even seen, like, a card-carrying case that looks like this? I've never even seen... I know there was a lot of companies in the 90s and 2000s that made all of these very, I don't know, different type of... Look at the dust on this thing. Look at this thing. Look at the aging. The question you have to ask yourself, how many Black Lotuses are going to be in here? So first of all, look at this thing. I've never even seen this. This is like a little... Isn't this kind of crazy? Yeah, the little counter tokens, +1s, and a little bit of dye. Little fish tank glass things. Nothing crazy, but it's just kind of neat. Little, things are from, what, Othello, the board game? I don't know. So, my point of showing you this is because of this. This is really cool. And this is something I like to kind of see from people and everything. These old decks. I mean, look at these old decks. Look at these things. Let's go to Nightmare. Look at these things. Now, again, I already went through this just to give everyone a heads up, and I pulled out all the expensive cards I showed you at the beginning of the video. So I just want everybody to be aware of that. Anybody remember these old Ultra Pro deck boxes? So now this, he actually sleeved the decks. But I mean, it's nothing crazy, but I love it. God, I love those lands. They look cool. So this is a, what was this deck called? Nightmare. So I would assume there's a bunch of Nightmares, and just like I said, look at that. It looks like some commons, Onslaught. We got Terrors, of course, Rancid Earths, Stone Rains, Mountains, Terrors, Petravahawk, Faceless Butcher. Like I said, it's just kind of cool. Every once in a while, oh, there's a little chainer. It's a couple dollars, maybe. Is it a couple dollars? Used to, I don't know. Let's price check that. There's the old 7th edition Nightmare. Nightmare, unless it's Alpha Beta, unfortunately, it's not really worth a whole lot. It kind of is what it is. Dark Banishing. Look at that. The knockoff Terror from Ice Age. Don't you hate that? Everything in Ice Age was made weaker than previous, so nobody wants it even to this day. Alright, and that's just about it. And sometimes, like I said, it's fun to kind of play some of these decks that you get in, and you get to kind of experience what other people kind of, their creativity and they made. I always kind of find that kind of cool. And then some other, I don't know, just random Pokemon cards in here? No, just some cheap common. Okay. So, and it's cycling, zombies, soul. What's discard? Bunch of hippies. Him to Thorax, I would guess. Him to Thorax, what a surprise. I thought that was like restricted or banned or something. God, look at those lands. Look at the Onslaught lands. Oh, so cool. Tainted Isle. Oh, look at the condition of these bad boys. Even in the sleeves. High mileage, everybody. High mileage. So, very, very cool stuff. It's kind of neat. Look at a little Salt Marsh. And the Him to Thorax. Boomerangs, very fun things. I just think it's neat to kind of look at these old things. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of these regular ones, there's not going to be a lot of value, especially when they're in rough condition. But, as a whole, you know, you're still looking at real money, a bunch of cool stuff. And I think that's about it. Little Tempest Splicer, nothing too crazy. A little whiteboard. Ah, don't you wish those were black bordered? Am I right? He actually worth some money. The originals. Some whiteboard, ATOG action, Homelands, and some uncommons. A little whiteboard. I like the one. At least you got some whiteboarder Tron lands. Not really worth anything. I mean, black bordered, I tell you guys what. These, if you have the black board originals, I cannot believe the prices of those things going up. So, that is about it for this video. I just wanted to share the different stuff. I thought it was a pretty neat collection. Kind of a different kind of group of items to kind of see how they come through. And it's a lot of fun. Like I said, for stores and people around the country, if you really want to build collections and try to grow, and this is kind of the way you go about it. And, you know, so a lot of the stuff, no, there's not really value. You can't really sell a lot of it. But as a whole, do not underestimate it. I'm telling you all, do not underestimate the value of some of this stuff, especially in large numbers and in bulk and things like that. When you actually start selling these things locally or even online in bulk lots, and again, that's where a lot of people start doing those repacks. That's kind of, these collection purchasing is where companies start the repacks, is where it came from. This is kind of an interesting thing. So I guess this is a binder of all artifacts. God, I just wish some of these were original, like black border first printings or something, like an Alpha Beta, or if that was Legends. Wouldn't that be cool? So, there's a dark card. Look at that. There's something. Am I right? There's a little mana web. There's something. And, of course, Ice Age Central. Fallen Empires. No Money Land. Everybody's favorite. It really is a shame that we're in a future where, you know, the Ice Age and the Fallen Empires and 4th edition, and the most nostalgic stuff to almost every single Magic player is the least valuable. I always find that kind of an ironic situation. Don't you guys find that strange? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. And gold cards was such a unique... Oh, you have gold cards. Yeah, that was once upon a time. Alright, that's all I really have. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And it was some basic lands. Foil basic lands. That's kind of neat. I like the artwork. Boy, those are cool artworks. And Fallen Empires lands. I used to think those were the coolest things as a kid. Even the Mirage, the lands, and the uncommon land cycle from the Urza's Legacy. I used to think that was the coolest stuff, man. That was such a big deal to me. And of course, I used to think, again, and then even the Legends one, this is an actual Legends card, but it's just a terrible card. All your black Legends game banding. I mean, it's a terrible card. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's all I really have. You guys have a fantastic day. If anybody else has a collection in the world and you want to get some cash and you want to be on the internet and get famous and regret it, shoot me a private email and tell me what you got. Send some pictures. Be like, Rudy, tell me do you want to buy this? What are we going to do? Alpha Investments, LLC at gmail.com. And you guys have a fantastic day.